friends and music lovers. Welcome to Toon Talk. I'm Jen and Stephen James, and we are at the Vault interviewing Daniel with Serious Moonlight. How are you today?
I'm great. I'm
Great.
excited.
Are you from Michigan?
Yes, I am from Flint.
Oh, nice. Just down the road.
Yeah.
Great. How long have you been performing as David Bowie?
Oh, a couple of years. We kind of started the project right before COVID, and COVID kind of kicked our butts.
Kicked
and
everybody's
we've been just trying
butt.
to rebuild since then. So that's about the time the Bowie band project started. But I work with my wife and her company, the Goblin King Players, out of Flint/Detroit.
Okay.
And with that company, I play the David Bowie character from Labyrinth.
Oh, yes.
The Goblin King. And so the one was kind of born out of the other. The Goblin King Players came first, and then the Bowie
And
band
that's what
came
I
out of that.
saw on your YouTube was the Goblin King.
Mm-hmm.
And if you get a chance to go to Serious Moonlight on YouTube and check that out, because you guys did a lot of really cool stuff. I mean, the costumes were great. I just thought it was elaborate. Like, it was really detailed. And I know, if you were an 80s kid, you probably watched The Labyrinth. It was David Bowie in a movie.
Yeah, in a movie.
Come on.
Playing the Goblin King with Jim Henson's puppet mastery.
Yeah.
It's really great. And I'm learning the crystal ball manipulation that he does.
Oh, really?
So I'm learning to actually do that. In the movie, David Bowie didn't do it. There's a stand-in who's standing behind him with his arm through his coat doing it. A guy by the name of Michael Motion.
Okay.
And so David Bowie couldn't actually do it, but I can. Kind of.
Well, we have an interview coming up. We were supposed to have it this last week, but it is coming up. We have a magician, wow, that we're interviewing, and he's been around in our area too. So that's always one of those things that you're like, you go to places like Vegas, or even we were just in New Orleans, and you see people doing these weird things, and you're like, that look on your face, like, how did you do that?
First
So
of all,
it's cool
how
that
did
you're
they
learning
think
it.
to do that?
Yeah.
And then how long did it take to do that, to learn to do it? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, any skill, it takes time to develop.
Yeah. So what inspired you to perform as David Bowie?
We were taking a trip up north, my wife and I, and she just said Bowie tribute, and my head exploded, and we both were like, why didn't we think of this years ago?
Yeah.
Because I'm fairly good at sounding like him, I think. I try to anyway. And we've been doing the Goblin King thing, and she came up with it, and within a minute we had our business plan kind of worked out. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to audition a band. Here's the process. And then we did, and like I said, COVID.
Yeah.
But since then, my wife has taken over most of the business side, booking and things. We both do it, but she does most of it. And she also does my makeup and has coordinated the costumes, many of which we've had made.
Fantastic
so, a lot of
job
handmade
to
stuff,
her.
really cool stuff. Oh,
Yeah.
she's incredible. Yeah.
What would you say is the most challenging aspect of performing as David Bowie?
Well, since day one, it's been fear of being accepted by the fans, because people can get real precious about their fandoms and, oh, that's not David Bowie, get out of here, what are you trying to do? And with my TikTok following and my Facebook page and everything, there's like one or two negative comments that I can remember. People really like what I'm doing. Most people understand that I'm not trying to be David Bowie.
Right.
In
But
fact,
you
when
want
I'm on
to keep
stage,
him alive.
exactly. That's what I'm trying to do.
Keeping
is
that spirit.
Keep that artistry alive and that incredible influence he's had on so many musicians.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when I'm on stage, I rarely even refer to myself as David Bowie.
Right.
I call myself Serious Moonlight.
Yeah.
And I'll often say, Bowie did this, or there was a certain UK artist,
Now, do you play through all of his stages? He had from the very beginning in the 60s or 70s, 60s, 70s, he was this character, and then, in the 80s he transitioned a little bit more into, a little more that business. That album was a little more business-like, but
yeah, he
whatever
had the Thin White Duke look and all that
Yeah.
stuff. Well, for the stage, I have three persona that I play. I do the space suit
Okay.
with the
Yeah.
lightning bolt.
Yes.
And then I do the classic blue suit with the blue eyeshadow, and I'll do one of those for the first set, and then I'll take a break, and then I'll change into like the '80s look with the big moppy blonde hair. So, and that's the comfortable, easy to rock and roll outfit, obviously.
What would you say is probably like your most memorable moment?
Probably sharing the stage with Tim Capello. I don't know if you
I
remember,
don't.
you mentioned being an '80s kid. Do you remember a movie called The Lost Boys?
Yes.
There's this iconic scene where they're on the boardwalk and there's this band playing and there's this sexy sax man,
Yes.
all shirtless and greased up. His name's Tim Capello. He still performs. And we were supposed to do a project with him with my wife's company a few years ago. Again, COVID got in the way. We were going to shadowcast. What we do with my wife's company is we shadowcast movies. So
Okay.
we'll play a movie, we act out the characters in front of the movie.
Oh.
Kind of like the Rocky Horror Picture Show,
Okay.
but with different movies. So we were doing The Lost Boys, and she reached out to Tim Capello and said, "Would you like to stand on stage and pretend to play the sax while you're playing the sax in the movie?" And he was going to do it, and the project got canceled. So once we got my band, Serious Moonlight, going, I reached out to Tim and said, "Hey, do you want to come to Detroit anyway? We're playing at the theater. Maybe you could come play with us." And my thought was I would open for him. He would
Yeah.
do a show, and we would just do the first set. And I got him on the phone, and he said, "No, no, no, I'm just going to come jam with you. Just give me the last bit to do my..." He does a little bit from his song from the movie, from Lost Boys. He said, "I'm just going to play all those sax parts on your stuff, and then we'll do
Yeah.
my bit, and then we'll
Why
close
not?
with..." He always closes with tequila.
Oh, yeah.
Because he plays sax. And so it was great. I got to do a show, and he backed me up, and it was just incredible. And then he did his shtick at the end, and it was just a great time.
Yeah, I had another couple questions, but I want to go off just for a minute because I'm thinking that you're doing all these projects and with your wife's company and stuff. Have you guys done any performing like at the FIM, or do you guys have anything to do over there? You
No, we haven't. I don't know that we've done any actual Flint shows.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
because when I see you guys on YouTube, it just reminds me of something that would, it's so theatrical and very musical, and it would be something.
Yeah,
that
the
maybe-
Capitol's a really nice stage. I think.
yeah.
I think we would go really well there.
Yeah,
if
I
anybody's
was
listening.
like hitting around to the FIM. I see that every morning when I watch the news, they're always talking. There's always somebody there talking about every week. So I was just like, oh, I wonder if I think that would go in great. Hint, hint.
Yeah, we've been dropping hints over there.
Yeah.
Trying to get in.
So I will ask this last question. So, how do you see the legacy of David Bowie continuing on in the music industry?
Well, there aren't very many people who do what I do. There are a few, but there aren't a lot doing just a David Bowie tribute. When I picked the name Serious Moonlight, I went on Google to see if it was already
Anybody-
taken. And I was like, oh my gosh, there's already a Serious Moonlight David Bowie. They're in Australia.
Oh,
So I don't think we're competition for them.
No.
And they're very, very good. But I discovered that there weren't any in Michigan at the time, and there are just not a lot around. So I'm trying to.
yeah.
But I think it's just the pervasiveness of his music and the incredible musicians that he worked with and his incredible ingenuity. And I see artists now, young artists who have a huge online following, but they're not making deals with record companies, but they're doing weird, unique stuff the way he did. And I see that influence, and I think in that way it continues. Also, his fandom is in great overlapping groups.
Oh, yeah.
There are, on my TikTok channel, it's mostly Labyrinth, because that's the fandom that grew on that channel. On my Facebook, it's mostly the band stuff, but a little bit of the other stuff crossed over. So you get these people who, oh yeah, Bowie was in that movie, great. But they don't know he was also in The Man Who Fell to Earth, and he played Tesla in that magician movie
I
that
didn't
came
know
out
that.
a few years ago. And he was on Broadway playing the Elephant Man in the 80s.
I do remember that.
he was a
I think
prolific-
my mom watched that. I
But a
remember
prolific
it, yeah.
actor as well. I mean, just a very, very talented guy. And his influence is just so widespread that I think it just echoes. There are young kids who will hear a line from a Bowie song and they might not even know who it is.
I do see that now. I I noticed it last night. Steven and I went out to see some friends that are in a band, and it was such a mixed bag of people in there. But it's funny to see when you have a band that's playing covers, and especially like I think they played some Joni Mitchell, some older stuff, and to see not just the older folks, our age, are requesting this stuff, but then you see a 22-year-old singing it, and like, well, how do you know that? And it's something that David Bowie I think can reach all of those genres from whether you're 20 to 80. I think there's people that have been around for a long time, and we listen to stuff in our homes, and then it just gets passed down. Did you have a lot of music in your home when you were growing up?
Oh yeah. I had an older brother who played guitar beautifully, and he was our big influence. He was also big into movies, so that was my brother, who's closest to my age. He was our big influence growing up, and then I was in school band and stuff like that, But as soon as I got into college, I started learning guitar. My other brother, the one who's close to my age, is like the shredder. He's like a legit guitar player, But I started taking guitar a little more seriously, started studying drums, and started gigging right away, just doing solo gigs, coffee shops and things. And I've been involved in music and in drama since the early days of college.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah. But talking about that age spread, the fandom for The Labyrinth is mostly people who were my age when I saw the movie. And, but they're that age now, and they're discovering the movie and like, this is so cool. And so most of the people that follow me are kids.
Yeah. So if you go to Serious Moonlight on YouTube, you'll get a really good glimpse of all of this labyrinth that we're talking about. And also, you should check out the movie. You'll really get the connection. Well, it'll sink in much better. I think if you watch the movie, and you'll be like, oh my goodness, that was so good. When I saw it, I was like, dang, you did that really well. I was watching you. You were at it looked like you were at a castle.
We got to take the Labyrinth, the Goblin King character, to Hammond Castle in Massachusetts.
Okay.
They had a little Labyrinth ball dinner thing, and I got to go and just be him for a while. And there's a grand piano sitting in the ballroom, so I got to play some.
That looked really neat to watch.
So much fun, and it really felt right. And they did a good job of, like, the masquerade scene in the movie. They got the tables and chairs that matched.
Okay.
I mean, they went into detail. It was really cool. Yeah.
Well, that's so awesome. It was such a pleasure to meet you, and I can't wait to see your show tonight.
Oh, I'm excited.
So, just a reminder that the Vault has mini shows, and we're open almost every single weekend. Coming up probably through June, we have double header weekends. So next weekend, what do we have? Friday is Grace Under Pressure, which is the Rush Experience. Check them out on YouTube. They're so good. It'll blow your mind how good they are. But Saturday, you're going to want to make sure you get your tickets early, because we have the Tennessee Whiskey, which is the Chris Stapleton tribute, and Eric Church tribute. So that's really, tickets are already selling like hotcakes. There will be a line. I promise you. So get here early so you get your parking, and you don't have to worry about not having a seat. So we will have all of the bars open. So we have now four bars. So there's plenty of alcohol and water and pops and all that good stuff. We will have the kitchen open as well. Doors open at 7, and we are located at 110 Florence Street in Saginaw. Be sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Toon Talk with Jen and Stephen James, and our Facebook as well. And definitely check out your YouTube and your Facebook. It's really something. I really appreciate it. See you guys soon. Keep the music playing.